Hi friends, in this video I am completely discussing Learning Pedagogy MCQ. Okay, it's the MCQ completely 50 MCQ. The MCQ completely simple bits and competency based bits and assertion reasoning bits. Okay, it's very all the students completely concentration about these bits. First bit is learning is best. Learning is best defined as first one. Options are temporary change due to fatigue, relatively enduring change in resulting from experience, physical growth, change caused only by maturation. What is the answer? Relatively enduring change resulting from experience. This is called the learning. This is called the learning. Next, which is not normally considered learning. Improvement through practice, learning a new skill, temporary, poor performance due to fatigue, according to new knowledge through experience. They are asking not. Okay. Therefore, answer is C. C is the correct option. Next, learning can be only intentional, incidental, both intentional and incidental, neither. What is meant by intentional? It is meant by goal oriented. What is meant by incidental? Suddenly. Therefore, the answer is C. C is the correct answer. Next, fourth one. Which is the characteristic of learning? Always temporary, always intentional, relatively enduring. Only in classrooms. The answer is relatively enduring. It means not temporary. Therefore, 4 is the C option. C. Next. Two students are learning same topic at different speeds. This is mainly illustrates option individual differences, punishment, zero transfer and physical growth. Answer is individual differences. First option. Next question. Which factor is the most directly related to the pre-request knowledge? Pre-knowledge. Readiness, punishment, summative, extrinsic. It's called the readiness. A is the correct option. A is the ready. Next. Readiness. Readiness for learning includes only physical maturity, intelligence, cognitive, physical, emotional, and motivational preparedness. It is called the readiness. Therefore, C is the correct option. Next question. Curiosity and enjoyment is solving mathematics problem represents. Curiosity. Curiosity. First option extrinsic, intrinsic, negative, reinforcement, punishment. What is meant by extrinsic? External. Okay. External. Intrinsic means internal. Curiosity. Okay. Curiosity. Therefore, option B is the correct option. Correct option. Next. Motivation primarily arouses, direct and sustains behavior. This is the correct option. A is the correct answer. Next, 10th one. A student studies hard to win a prize. This is called the intrinsic, extrinsic, zero, incidental. Extrinsic, it is called the external. Therefore, goal, extrinsic, gift, prize, whatever may be. Okay. Therefore, answer are B. Reinforcement is a consequence that always decrease behavior, increase the probability of behavior occurring again, always involves punishment and stops learning. Reinforcement consequence that increases the probability of behavior occurring again. Okay. Therefore, option is B. The explanation is reinforcement strengthens the likelihood of a behavior. Next. Positive reinforcement means adding a desirable stimulus to increase behavior. Positive means adding. This is the answer. Here adding, these are the. But adding an unpleasant condition, this is the wrong. Therefore, first option is the correct answer. Okay. 12th one, A. Next. Why? Because positive is equal to adding, reinforcement means increasing. Next one. Negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement means increasing punishment, wrong. Removing an unpleasant condition to increase behavior. It is the correct option. Therefore, B is the correct option. Next question. Which statement is correct? Negative reinforcement punishment, it's wrong. Reinforcement decrease behavior, wrong. Punishment aims to decrease behavior. Positive reinforcement decrease behavior. Okay. All are almost all same. Negative reinforcement is equal to punishment, it's wrong. Punishment aims to decrease behavior, it's also wrong. I think B is the correct option. B. No, C is the correct option. Why? Punishment aims to decrease behavior. Punishment is intended to reduce unwanted behavior. Therefore, C is the correct option. Okay? No confuse, it's a C. Basic arithmetic helps to student learn algebra. Means arithmetic helps to learn algebra. This is a positive transfer. Okay? Therefore, C is the correct option. Next question. When previous learning interferes with new learning, it's clear. Negative transfer. B is the correct option. Next. Concept or negative transfer means previous learning hinders the new learning. Zero transfer means strongly helps, strongly hinders, no significant effect. This is the correct option. 17th is C. Next, 18th. Which is enrollment factor effective learning? Classroom noise, intelligence, aptitude and prior knowledge. Environmental factor. This is the environmental. What is the factor affecting learning? Classroom noise. I think A is the, why? Because it's the environmental. Okay. Next. Which is primarily a teacher factor? Prior knowledge, communication skill, maturation and self-confidence. Which is a primarily teacher a factor? What is the factor? What is the answer? B. Communication skill. Okay. Next one. Temporary decline in performance causes by illness. Always proves loss of learning. Necessary negative transfer. Does not by itself prove loss of learning. Positive reinforcement. Temporary decline in performance caused by illness. Temporary decline in performance caused by illness. What is the answer? Always proves a loss of learning. Necessary negative. Does not itself prove loss of learning. It positive reinforcements. C. Does not by itself proves loss of learning. Okay. Next question. Section B. Competency-based model. Before teaching algebra, a teacher tests integers, fractions and basic operations. Should the teacher do? Start algebra immediately, wrong. Label students' weakness, wrong. Provide prerequisite support. Therefore, C is the correct option. A student applies a multiplication procedure incorrectly. When the learning division, positive transfer, negative transfer, zero transfer, intrinsic motivation. What is the answer? B. Negative transfer. A student applies multiplication procedure. Old learning interface with new learning. Old learning interface with new learning. Negative transfer. Okay. Next. Students lose concentration because of excessive classroom noise. Best intervention. Increase homework, wrong. Improve the learning enrollment. This is the right answer. Therefore, B is the correct option. A student believes, I can never learn mathematics. Which factor is the most relevant? Self-confidence and self-concept, physical maturation, zero transfer, subject matter alone. First option. A is the correct option. Teacher says, you improved 4 to 8 correct answers. Recheck the questions. Constructive feedback, punishment, wrong. Negative transfer, wrong. Summative grading, wrong. Therefore, option A is the correct option. Next. Homework submission increases after the teacher gives specific praise. This is called, what is the answer? They are given praise and homework submission. Therefore, positive reinforcement. After completion of the homework submission, the teacher gives specific praise. Therefore, answer is positive reinforcement. An unpleasant restriction is removed after responsible behavior and responsible behavior. This is positive reinforcement. Negative punishment 0. An unpleasant restriction removed from responsible behavior. And responsible behavior increases. This is answer is negative reinforcement. B. B is the correct option. An unpleasant condition is removed and behavior increases. Okay. Next. A principal see low results and immediately labels students weak. Best response is accept it, increase punishment. This too wrong. Examine evidence and identify barriers first. This is the right answer. C. Students know a formula but cannot apply it to real life. Best next step. More rote memorization wrong. Provide varied application task. Punish student wrong. Ignore the problem. Therefore, B is the correct option. Students use percentage knowledge to comparing shopping discounts. Simple. They are adding this knowledge to this. Positive transfer. First option. Previous learning is successfully applied in a new context. Okay, next question. A student performs poorly after staying awake all night but performing normally later. The principal conclude permanent loss of learning wrong. Fatigue may have temporarily affected by performance. This is the right answer. This is the right answer. Why? Because we know that negative transfer and motivation is impossible, whatever may be. Okay. Temporary performance effects should not automatically be treated as a learning loss. Next question. Student choose a poster, presentation or model to demonstrate the same learning outcome. This can be strengthened. Meaningful choice and motivation. This is the right answer. Okay, this is not a punishment. Negative transfer. This is not A is the correct option. Teacher questions students during a lesson and changes instruction when many misunderstand. This is called the primarily. Okay. Simple. Teacher asks students during a lesson. During a lesson. Formative. Okay. What is meant by summative? What is summative? Before class or after completion of class? Write on your comment box. Okay. Next, principal wants to know why class 8th performance poorly in fractions. Best sequence is punish, test, label, wrong. Diagnose, identify barriers, intervene and resist. This is the answer. B is the correct action. This is an evidence-based improvement cycle. Students learn classroom manners by observing classmates without direct instruction. It is called the intentional or incidental or negative or summative. Incidental learning or intentional learning. Incidental learning. B is the correct option. Next. Teacher presents information in small meaningful chunks because students struggle with too much information. This address working memory, cognitive load limits, physical growth, negative reinforcement 0. First option. A is the concept are reducing unnecessary cognitive load. Next, a learner can solve difficult problem with teacher hints but not independently. This is called first one, zone of proximal development, punishment, zero transfer, summative. Already we know about these three, but this is a new thing. What is meant by ZPD? Zone of proximal development. It is the complete concept developed by the Vygotsky. What is meant by ZPD? If a student cannot do alone, but can do with the help. Therefore, the answer is zone of proximal development. Okay. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we will discuss about these concepts. Therefore, first option here. Next. The teacher provides guided practice, then moves students to independent performance. This is called the scaffolding, punishment, negative transfer, incidental. Simple. Scaffolding is the correct answer. Why? Support is gradually reduced as a competence developed. Next. Principal observes classroom and gives specific suggestions for questioning and participation. This reflects pedagogical leadership, punishment, administrative only, zero transfer, physical readiness. First option is the correct option. School wants students to use concepts in unfamiliar real life situation. Emphasis should be on rote recall only, transfer and application, punishment, repetition without contest. Okay, what is the answer? Transfer and application. Next question. Transfer involves applying prior learnings in new situations. Next question. Assertion and reasoning. 41. Assertion. Learning is described as a relatively enduring change. Reason. Temporary changes by fatigue or illness do not necessarily indicate learning. Assertion is correct, reason is correct. Therefore, R is the correct explanation of A. Next question. Readiness is important for effective learning. Reason. Readiness is included only physical maturity. What is the answer? A is true or is false? Next question. Negative reinforcement can increase desired behavior. Negative reinforcement involves removing an unpleasant condition. Therefore, both are true. Or is the explanation of A. First option. Negative reinforcement is different from the punishment. It's right. Negative reinforcement increases behavior, whereas the punishment tends to decrease behavior. 100% is right. Both true. Or is the correct explanation of A. 44 is the A. Assertion. Positive transfer facilitates new learning. Reason. Previous learning can provide useful knowledge or skills for a new task. Both true. Or is the correct explanation of A. All learners should be taught at exactly the same pace. First of all learners should be taught at exactly the same pace. It's wrong. Reason. Learners differ in prior knowledge, readiness and motivation. This is the correct. A or true, A false maybe. D, yes, correct. D. Assertion. Formative assessment can improve learning. Yes. It provides information during the lesson. That can modify. 100% both are right. 47 both true or is the correct explanation of A. Next. Assertion. A principal should examine evidence before deciding why students perform poorly. Reason. Poor performance can result from readiness, motivation, teaching, enrollment. Both are correct or is the correct explanation of A. First option. 49. Intrinsic motivation comes primarily from external rewards. 100% this is the assertion is wrong. Why? Because intrinsic means internal. Okay. Anxiety, like whatever maybe. Reason. Intrinsic motivation associated with the interest, curiosity, enjoyment and mastery. Therefore, reason is correct. A is false. A is false or is true? D, yes. 50. Assertion. Transfer can be positive, negative or zero. Right? Reason. Previous learning may help interfere with the or have a little significant effect on new learning. Both true or is the correct explanation of A. Okay. Thank you. Tomorrow we discuss about the learning theories.